was blessed enough to play long enough to where when 10 years was up, I had more left in the body than in the heart for the game.
Yeah.
Which that doesn't always happen for everybody. Usually it's the opposite. They got more left in the heart and the body just can't do it, or they just don't get that opportunity.
No Free Lunch is presented by T. Rowe Price. The information provided on this podcast is for informational purposes only and should not be considered financial or legal advice. Always consult with a qualified financial and or legal professionals before making any legal or financial decisions or investments. I'm Ndamukong Suh, and welcome to No Free Lunch, where we talk to experts and athletes about how the most successful people in sports manage their money and grow their wealth. We are in Chicago, about to talk to somebody that I've had fun beating up on, but he's had some amazing games against me as well.
Yeah, man, a legend, one of the best running backs of his generation, really a Swiss Army knife, you know, a guy that could kill you on the ground and in the air. Matt Forté. Yeah,
Matt Forté, man. He was a monster for the Chicago Bears. And it was odd because I didn't know him. Obviously, we played against each other for a good amount of time. I think he believed he had a 10-year career and whatnot in my first 5 years. My sister and his wife were cool. And my sister was like, man, Matt, you should get to know. He's super cool. I was like, man, I was telling my sister, I was like, man, I don't care about getting to know him. I'm trying to knock his head off. He's a running back from not only a rival team, but a running back at that. So, but no, really good dude.
How has it been to talk to guys, whether it be on this show or even just in life after sports that you, once again, you played with, against? Is it like that weird sense of like we're fake enemies, or do you really not like some guys? Like what is the line there?
Oh, there's definitely some real smoke for some guys, especially some dudes here in Chicago. I'm gonna leave names out for right now.
Sure.
But it's always interesting, man. You look at guys you play against and you inherently just don't like each other because you're on opposite side of the balls in different teams. But there's just also genuinely like curiosity, like what type of people are they off the field, and getting to know them. And I was always a guy that never hung around at all after the game. So I missed out on just like interactions and saying what's up. And I would say what's up to dudes, but I'm doing it as I'm running off the field.
Right.
I was just wired differently from the standpoint of saying, I just got done with a war.
Yeah.
And I'm about to go decompress and get in my own positive headspace. And then I can go interact and have conversation with the guys like that. So I was just a little bit different from that aspect.
Not too many jersey swaps for Ndamukong.
Nah, wasn't no jersey swaps, man. If we did jersey swaps, I was like, man, you got to hit me on Monday or Tuesday when I'm calmed down.
That's funny. Well, Matt's been busy since he's been done playing. He's founded Workhorse, which is a dope athletic apparel brand.
Yep.
He's also in media as well, the Sports Spectrum, and hosts his own podcast. But most recently, he has a book coming out October 7th called Stay in the Game.
Okay.
Memoir of his life. And really just, it's been cool to just hear about Matt, what he's been up to since he's been done playing. So I'm excited to hear about not only what he's done on the field, but off and even within the community as well.
Yeah, man. He's got an amazing story that just reading up on him a little bit, just being from Louisiana, going through Hurricane Katrina, and translating that into an amazing career at Tulane, and then transforming that even to the Chicago Bears and beyond. But then obviously, like, one of those like silent successful guys that you see, I think that's something I'm super, super curious to dive into more, and how he's building up not only youth and young men and active players, but also his book, the reason why he did that book, and his clothing brand, and really just, again, like you say, being a part of his community and supporting people left and right. Man, let's get into it right here on No Free Lunch. I'm excited. Let's go. Matt Forté, man, you've been a guy that I've watched and played against for many, many years, and just humbly always had a lot of respect for you, even though I was trying to beat you up all the time. So one, I appreciate you coming on the show, but it's obviously great to be here in the city of Chicago. and being able to talk with you. And let's just jump into kind of your early childhood. You were born and raised in Slidell, Louisiana.
Yes.
Tell us what that was like, and especially being so close to New Orleans.
Yeah, Slidell was great. You know, a great city, small town to grow up in. Louisiana has a lot of small towns like that. Even New Orleans as a city isn't that big, because I'm in Chicago now, and you can see like New Orleans can fit multiple times inside of Chicago. It's a big city. But even Slidell, just being across Lake Pontchartrain from New Orleans, it's a really small town neighborhood, diverse neighborhood.
Okay.
My dad's from Texarkana, Texas.
Yeah.
He's the son of a pastor. I'm the grandson of a pastor.
Okay.
He pastored in Hooks, Texas for 60 years.
Wow.
You know, kind of that old Baptist, you know, black preacher type of upbringing where they never retire. They just keep preaching. And, you know, never really had much. They especially my dad, he would spend time on his grandfather's land and stuff and work the field and all that stuff. My dad always had a real hard work ethic, which bled over into what I kind of took that mindset. Yeah. So when it comes to my upbringing, my dad went to Tulane 30 years before I did, was able to graduate, you know, and made the most of his scholarship. Didn't go pro, but you know, made the most of his scholarship and getting his education as well. And it allowed him to sustain a job at Shell Oil Company for 36 years. Wow. Okay. Which allowed us as a family to move into a better neighborhood. So I grew up in a really diverse neighborhood. There was, you know, black kids, white kids, Hispanic kids, like all of that. But school-wise, the public school I went to, all the way until 7th grade, I'd be like the only black kid in class. Me and my brother. Okay. I got an older brother that's 2 years older than me. Yeah. So the upbringing was cool. I got a mix of upbringing, not only because of the generation where we were as a 80s baby, kind of no technology or like dial-up internet into iPhones. Yeah. So I got a mix of all of that, as well as a mix of lower income to some of the guys who I played baseball with. Their parents were, you know, were balling. So, you know, it was a good upbringing to where I was able to see the dynamics and the differences in people and in life in general.
It's a very unique situation for you to grow up, especially. Sounds like you guys grew up middle class or lower middle class from that perspective, but then obviously having, and I know this having researched you and been around you a little bit, and more so my sister and your wife being close from that perspective, but faith being something that's huge to you. Obviously, it's ingrained from your great-grandfather or from your grandfather to your father and to yourself. Talk a little bit about how that molded you and shaped you as a human, coming from that culture and from that background with the family.
Yeah, it's a great foundation to have, even as a young man, not even knowing that it's the foundation of everything else that you build off of or want to build off of. And having that faith background is just something that I take seriously, especially now as a husband and a father, and having 2 boys and 2 girls, 4 kids, that this is something that I'm going to be able to pass down to them that transcends football, transcends running touchdowns and scoring on the field on Sundays. You know, they'll forget about that. They don't even know that life anymore. They were really young when I did that. So it's just something that's super important to me, because when you look at that aspect as a family man, as a husband and a father, something that was passed down to me from my like even beyond those, you know, him, with my grandfather being a pastor and then my dad keeping us in that type of environment where we went to Sunday school and we went to church on Sunday, and it was something that gave me a great balance and a great foundation to where I know where to go and I know where my help comes from. Yeah. And it was something that it's just when you get to the NFL and you realize that there's so much materialism and these temptations are all over the place, that solid foundation, that solid rock foundation that you build off of, you can withstand the storms when they come.
Yeah, and that was going to be kind of where I wanted to transition next to, because you get into a massive city like Chicago and you're a superstar, and obviously people's heads can be very, very big from having that attention and those different things and winning and being successful, which you were a part of a lot of successful teams. How did that keep you grounded and focused, especially when it came to money? And what were some of the learning lessons that you had as an early age from your parents? Because you said your father was at a major company in Shell. You were exposed to not lower middle class, but also poor, being right around the corner from New Orleans. Not everybody's successful in that city, but then also at the same time, talking about baseball, being with friends and seeing them have kind of everything at their fingertips. How do you manage that? And how did that ethos and that thesis of your family help you with money?
I think having a humble beginning and upbringing really helped me to, for one, I think my mindset going into when I became a professional athlete and first touched and saw money, it made me almost have a scarcity mindset towards money, where it's like, well, I don't want to be the statistical guy who loses all his money, and you work hard for that, to make it to the NFL, and then now what? Yeah. And then, nobody, every time, a lot of people can't just start over like that and just, kind of, it's a lost opportunity, I would say. So that mindset of that, because honestly, the way my folks lived, it wasn't extravagant either. Even when my dad got promotions, like if you work 36 years at a place, you're gonna get, rise in the ranks and become a guy who is valued there. So even when my dad got to where he was making six figures, which was crazy for us. I was in high school by that time, but nothing was like, I'm not gonna go out and buy this new car or. And he taught me about depreciating assets and stuff at a young age, because you're like, man, well, why are we still driving this car? We could get this one. And he just would sit me down and talk about these things. He sat me down, and the funniest things, he taught me about the stock market in the funniest way, because he was sitting there, I was like, well, how does this work? And he's explaining it to me, and he's like, there's this tech stock. It's called whatever. And he's like, so it's a penny. So you can buy a bunch of shares of it, and it's just 1 penny each share. Yeah. And so I'm like, well, I got my allowance. I got $100. Like, let me buy 100 shares. Yeah. So I buy 100 shares of it, and it tanked. And I would check on him every day. I was like, what's it at now? What's it at now? He's like, man, it's like a seed. It's the long game. But I got to understand how you can't just throw something in and like it's a vending machine and invest and think that you're going to get something back out. Yeah. You have to really sit there and diversify, but then also grow from the standpoint of it being like a seed. And it was just so funny, because I was a kid, so I would blame him like, man, you lost my $100 for this bad, stock tip that you gave me. But it gave me so getting into the NFL and you get your signing bonus. I'm a second round guy, so you're kind of slated at whatever pick you were, and to me, that's more money than my family has ever seen, ever. And having that mindset, it was both a scarcity mentality, but also some humility within it, to where I didn't want to go out and just buy all kind of things. I bought my dad a nice watch. Okay. I bought my mom, because she worked at JCPenney's in the jewelry department. She knew jewelry. Yeah. And I bought her a piece of jewelry that she had been eyeing like forever. Years, and that was my two major purchases. Okay. And then I did the dumb, rookie thing. Once you finish that season and you kind of, you think you're gonna play forever. Went out and bought this Breitling watch that had the aftermarket diamonds all over and all that stuff. And then you get older and it's like, that's dumb.
Half that value went away as soon as you bought it.
Exactly.
Yeah. So you mentioned two things. Obviously, you were in a situation when you came into it, you had an understanding of what money was like. But I also believe I was scared to be a statistic. So would you say that was something that drove you towards your success, and one, playing as long as you did, but then having the ability to be able to manage and be successful after that? Because a lot of people say, I might as well get it. I got it. Let me just spend it. So how did that help you look at investing? But then also, how did that shape your mindset early on in your career?
Yeah, being scared to be a statistic, I think, drove me towards success, because it gave me the opportunity to learn, gave me the opportunity and the want to learn. I was like, I don't want to be a statistic, so I know going and spending like crazy, you're going to be one. Yeah. So if I don't, let me take one of these biblical principles where you got the parable of the talents, where the one who buried his, which he was living a scarcity mentality, like, I'm gonna just bury mine. And nothing was created from that. It's a lost opportunity. So I'm like, man, the ones who actually used what they had and went and got more, they were given more. So I'm gonna learn how to and be slow about it to where I'm not gonna do anything like that I don't know about. Because when you get to the NFL, everybody's telling you what you should be doing with your money, right? Man, you could be buying, this land over here, or starting or franchising this business here and doing all of this stuff. And it can be overwhelming. And you think you're missing out on something. Yeah,
for sure.
And I went through a phase of like, man, am I doing something wrong? Like, and then you start comparing. Like, what is this guy in the locker room doing? What's he involved in business-wise? And you're trying to keep up to where I got overwhelmed. And I was like, you know what? Let me just learn. Let me learn by also reading some things, but also being around people, learning from people, and like watching their life is kind of the best teaching tool that there is.
Man, I wholeheartedly agree with that. And I think that's something that I want to touch a little bit back on how your father taught you about stocks early on in your career and really childhood. What age was that? And what was kind of that role that money played within your family? Was it something that you guys talked about openly with every single sibling? As you mentioned, you have an older brother and whatnot. Your mom was involved in those conversations. How did that, growing up in your family, how was money talked about?
We would, it wasn't heavily talked about. I would say it was something that my dad realized that he needed to at least give me a foundational aspect of the teaching of how money works. Not necessarily how I should be using it or even saying that I should make this type of decision whenever I, become a man or you have a professional job and whatever it may be. But we did talk about it from the aspect of how it works, which I think is important, because if you know how it works and the negative aspects of how it works, then you can kind of steer your way away from those negative aspects, like understanding, as I said earlier, like what the depreciating asset means as far as you get a car and you drive it off the lot, as soon as it's still the same car, but it's just gonna go down tremendously in value. And then like even fads and things like that, like a lot of people just kind of, they don't have that original thought aspect where, or set a trend type of thing. So they want to do what other people are doing, which you may spend a lot of money because by that time it's popular, the price is going up, and then nobody wants it anymore, and then boom, it goes down. So we did talk about those things. And even from I think I was around 10 when we first started to really sit down and talk about those things. And we had a computer, the dial-up, internet where you sit there, AOL, and you could, hear it, the phone line. Nobody could be on the phone. But sitting there and looking at the computer screen, looking at the college fund that my dad had started.
So you had a 529 plan?
That didn't have much money in it. And so he basically sat us down and said, see, there's not a lot of money in there, so you need to get a scholarship, which was some motivation athletically for me. But all in all, like his kind of basic talk about it, I say we probably talked about it maybe 20, 25% of the time.
Obviously, you were fortunate enough to have a 529 plan. There wasn't a lot in there, so you had the motivation. And my motivation as a young kid, I saw my older sister get a scholarship to go to Mississippi State to play soccer, and she could have gone pretty much anywhere in the country. And so I was like, wow, my older sister was able to, 4 years ahead of me, get a scholarship where my parents don't have to pay for her school. So that's one of my goals. I wanted it to be in basketball, ended up being in football. I ended up not being as tall as I wanted to be, but you being an underrated recruit, how did that impact your decisions? And really, like, what was that experience like as you were coming out of high school? It always kept me humble. I think, and honestly, my faith is a big part of my life, or is the center of my life. And I think it's a way for God to continue to keep his hand on me to say, be humble. Because I can imagine if I had
schools from everywhere coming at me saying, we want you to play here and play there. Because I was willing. Like, I wasn't scared of leaving home. I was like, man, I want to play at the big school. I want to go play at Texas or USC or Ohio State, like these big schools. And I got one scholarship offer.
Yeah.
And it's from the school up the street, which, not knowing, like looking back now in hindsight, was the best place for me to be. Right by home. Parents can come see the games and all kind of stuff. And then also the Lord was teaching me a lesson that it's not the big, pretty environment that gets you to the next level. He can use whatever situation he chooses to place you in and give you the stepping stones as long as we develop what he's already given us. He gave me some talent. I was able to develop it, work hard, and boom, those doors start to open, and then you find your way into being successful in that lane. So, man, it was a way to stay humble and keep me humble because, man, it's always like you always have to prove yourself. Even when I got to the NFL,
no question.
I was looking most recently at the Hall of Fame nominees.
Yeah.
And there's a lot, I've been retired like 8 years now. There's a lot of guys from my draft class in there and beyond, like beforehand. Great running backs in that list. There's a ton of guys in the same draft class as me that made the nominee list. Doesn't mean they're going to make the Hall of Fame, but they made the nominee list. I'm not on the list. Yeah. And I'm like, how is that?
Who are some of those guys, if you don't mind sharing?
Yeah, it's ton of guys from my draft class. Chris Johnson is on there, which he was a great running back, 2,000 plus yards. But when you look at the body of work, I had more yards than or even combined work. LaShawn McCoy is on there, which he's the only one out of the guys who was in there and had more total yards than me by like 400 or 500 yards. Jamal Charles was on there. Arian Foster was on there. And, I love those guys, no disrespect to them, nothing like that. It's just
for sure not. But it's a competition at the end of the day.
It's a competition. It's like, some of them I had like almost double what they did. But it's just something that's funny is I've never been like the most popular or sought after guy, but I've just been consistent, which I think is a message in itself. But same thing in high school, like I wasn't underperforming, but the recruiting process just kind of it really, like they say, it only takes one.
And it's interesting that you bring that up because I think I put myself in a similar boat. Yes, I was known just like you were known, and we played in big cities from that perspective, but there are these other players that received certain accolades and got things, in my sole opinion, because they were very boisterous and they were in the limelight and they pushed themselves and they had people behind them. Like I'd always tell my sister, especially early on in my career, like, I don't really care about Pro Bowl votes. Like, I'm not going to be posting and doing these different things and waving my own flag to get those. If I get it, I get it. If I don't, I don't. And that's kind of how I look at the whole same thing with Hall of Fame. Yes, without question, I'd be sitting here lying to you if I didn't want to be in the Hall of Fame. Yeah. Do I think I deserve it? Yes, I think my body of work speaks for that. Now, will the voters agree with that? That's their decision to be made. And that's vice versa, kind of how you feel, if I'm understanding you correctly.
Yeah.
Do you go back to Tulane and speak to kids and youth and being able to say, man, look at my story and use this as an example for yourself? Not everybody's going to have the opportunity to be able to get every single scholarship and be put on the map. And they may be from a small town or a big town and you may be overshadowed. So how do you go back and give back to the youth from that perspective?
Yeah, I go back to Tulane for that specific purpose, spring practice or sometimes before the season starts for, encouraging them in that aspect. There's a lot of hometown kids, a lot of Louisiana natives that we recruit obviously first from within that bucket. And they need to know, like, I'm a small town kid from Slidell. Like, you really can do this. Yeah. You can make it. And then you can avoid some of the mistakes I've made. I mean, I'm going to go back for homecoming and I'm sitting down with the president of the university to do a fireside chat about the book that I wrote that's coming out, the memoir. And the whole purpose of the memoir really is to draw lessons, teaching lessons from my life and the experiences that I had to show kind of almost in a type of like a parable way, like how Jesus taught, that this is a principle, like a biblical principle or a life principle that you can use or utilize in whatever context your life is.
Yeah.
So it may not be cookie cutter, like you don't have to do it the same way I did.
For sure not, yeah.
But the principle is still the same. So that's the reason I even wrote the book. Even in the epilogue, it's addressed to pro and college like athletes, like them specifically, because of the platform that they have now. Like guys in college are getting paid more than some of the guys in the NFL.
And they need to be humble.
And they need to, be humble. But I think it's a good thing too, because one, they get the money early where they can know how to use or make the mistakes early. And then it won't be detrimental, so to speak. If you've noticed, a lot of guys transition better out of the game after college than NFL, like pro. I don't know why that is. There's got to be a study that somebody does, but I've seen it to where a lot of guys who maybe they made some NIL money or whatever, but a lot of guys from my era, when they did not make it into the NFL, they transitioned into that next phase of life and have continued to be successful. But now there's guys I played with for 7, 8 years, which is you're beating the odds when you play that long in the NFL, and they've transitioned out and they don't know identity-wise who they are anymore. Yeah, and it translates over that there's not success after that.
So I'm curious. You bring up an interesting point, and I have two questions for you. One, did you ever go through a mourning period when you retired? And if so, how did you handle that period of time to be able to transition to that next phase of life? And what did that look like for you? And what are you doing right now with that?
It was funny. I wouldn't say it was mourning period because I was blessed enough to play long enough to where when 10 years was up, I had more left in the body than in the heart for the game. Yeah. Which that doesn't always happen for everybody. Usually it's the opposite. They got more left in the heart and the body just can't do it. Or they just don't get that opportunity or whatever. It was beneficial that I played that long to be able to say, you know what? Man, I've kind of really done a lot of what I wanted to do.
You got to experience everything.
I got to experience everything. Like, what's another season where I could possibly get hurt even worse? Yeah. And then I got kids. Let me enjoy the fruit of the labor. Yeah. So I grieved football in a different way of not playing it anymore, which kind of led into almost a little bit of anxiousness or anxiety afterwards of being like, man, I know, have you been at practice or in the locker room, and whenever you're on the field, if you're not doing something, you're like, that's wrong. I should be doing something.
I'd be working towards something,
And really, I didn't even realize what the Lord was giving me a rest period, like a reset. And it's like, man, in this season right now that you're in, just relax and figure, and then like those things will come about. Even those ideas will come about. Yeah. I never thought about immediately when I finish, I'm going to write a book. Yeah. Or I'm going to start a clothing line, or I'm going to do this. But those things do come, and I think the rest period was kind of the grieving period, if you want to say that. But it was a good reset, and like I was saying earlier, it was good that I was done with the game more than the game was actually done with me.
So it's interesting you say that, because I was very fortunate in the same token to be able to leave the game on my terms, and as you left the game on your terms, for lack of better words. And when I look at very similar, the grieving side of things, there was a 2-year period before I officially announced that I was retiring. And so talking about having that rest period, very similarly, I had that to be able to say, and I felt anxious in that time frame. Like, what am I going to do? What do I want to do? I have so many things that I could. Real estate is a huge passion. It's something I'm always going to do. Do I want to get into TV? I'd always been fighting against it, but there's lots of opportunities that come to my table. But I decided, yes and no. Let me try it and maybe not try it. And kind of fast forwarding to where I'm at right now, like I'm all in on media and I'm fully in real estate from that perspective. But it was a smooth transition for me because I had that kind of 2-year window to kind of try stuff and do things as I chose from that perspective. So we talked a little bit about Tulane and giving back, and you write in your book. How does it affect you from going through Hurricane Katrina and continue to give back to that city and your experience and seeing that community and that despair? Like, how has that affected you, and what are you doing to continue to be a part of that community.
Really taught me to be grateful for everything.
Yeah.
Because in a moment, things can change. And I'm a sophomore on Tulane's campus. I just came off a freshman year where I was splitting time. I didn't redshirt. I was able to play.
Okay.
Was splitting time with a junior. He got injured, and I got to start the end of the season.
Yeah.
And I go into detail in this in the book too. But my first game, I got to start against Army.
Okay.
And I put up 200 yards rushing, another like 80 receiving. So it was just like, okay, I know I can do this. Where if I'm getting like volume, I'm gonna produce.
Yeah.
So then the next game we beat TCU, which was crazy at TCU, and it was like, man, this is it's going well. It was another 100-yard game or close to it, and then I ended my freshman year thinking, I'm a freshman, I'm already doing this. Like, I'm just going straight to the next level.
Yeah.
Sophomore year comes, and the day before we're supposed to. It's like the last moment that you can evacuate.
Okay.
Hurricane Katrina, strengthens in the Gulf and that warm water and just became a big storm. And then sometimes it ends up turning. So that's why you wait so long.
Yeah.
And it's like, nah, it's coming to New Orleans. So we left that day and we went to Jackson State, which is supposed to be kind of an hour and a half drive, something like that. Not even that long. It took like 8 hours to get there.
Yeah, that's crazy.
On buses. Which the storm hit New Orleans and turned and hit Jackson. So we still got hit by the storm and we're on a gym floor on like little cots as a 90-something person football team.
Wow.
But that taught me just to be so grateful for every single moment and all the luxuries you have when you play ball, scholarship in college, or especially is even maximized in the pro, you're served. Everything is given for your uniform is put out. They wash your stuff. You get new stuff when the stuff is dirty or looks old or is worn out. You just get you get everything that you need.
Yeah.
And you can have a mindset of just kind of consuming that all the time. So you may walk into the
entitlement.
You feel entitled. You might walk into a restaurant and it's like, yeah, can I get a table? And it'll be 20 minutes. And you might. What you mean? But you can't be like that.
Yeah. Because
that's not the real world. And so it taught me to be grateful for everything. And at the same time, the growth in, as a young, I'm 19 turning 20 at that point. Like these are real life events where people lost their lives. People lost families, lost homes in New Orleans that their family for generations had been living in, and because the flood was so large, they lost everything paperwork-wise. And then even in that there's some kind of systemic issues where you going back, hey, this is my home, and where's your deed? Yeah. Well, it got washed away. We don't have, it's not your house.
It's crazy.
So then you lived on the street with, and so this really happened to people, but it's just, it was sad, and it was something I never emotionally felt a certain way when natural disasters happen like that. Because you're so removed from it, you're like, man, that's crazy that happened. But football will numb you to things emotionally. It's like just like when someone gets injured, hey, move it up 5 yards. Yeah. And it's like, you just so numb that, man, this dude's career might be over.
Correct.
And it's just, all right, next, we got stuff to do. Or when you get injured and the team just keeps going and like, you're like a ghost in a facility.
Yeah.
So it was kind of a reckoning with myself to kind of mature emotionally a little bit, to not just be so either transactional with things and also just so numb towards things that really affect human lives.
Yeah, no, that's insane. I mean, you're 100% right. When moved up 5 yards, no question, when somebody gets hurt or something happens and kind of the train continues to move forward, but it's good to sit there and reflect and be able to understand how grateful you are for certain things that have happened in your life and be able to be alive, let alone because you were in the midst of the storm, to say the least. Well, I want to move to a segment called Show Me the Receipts. And this is kind of more so talking about what was it like to get your first paycheck as a pro? And really, do you remember how much it was?
Yeah, so this is funny because although my dad taught us some stuff about finances and assets and depreciating assets and things like that, I wasn't taught a lot about taxes.
Okay.
And Uncle Sam and
Yeah.
how much, how there's different tax brackets and things.
Yeah.
So I signed my second round contract. My signing bonus is 1.5. I'm like,
ooh,
hey,
okay.
I'm balling now. Like, on the even when you look at it now, it's like not really, what you think
it's
it
not
is.
pennies, but it's pennies to what they're getting right now.
Exactly. So I'm thinking, I get that check in the mail,
mm-hmm.
and it's direct deposit, but they send you the stub and all that, or the receipt and stuff. So I look at it, and there's like $890 something on the. I'm like, so I called my agent.
Yeah,
and he's like, "What's up?" I was like, "Hey man, they messed up something on my signing bonus.
Yeah,
it's only 800 and almost 900K on here." And he's like, "Yeah, man, like
welcome
taxes.
to the real world." Yeah.
They take this much out, and I was like, "Wait, they take this much out of your check? Like almost 50%?" He's like, "Yeah, you're in a different tax bracket."
Yeah.
And it was just a whirlwind. I was like, this is crazy. Wait, they take that much out of your check?
Yeah.
So it was funny that I had, even at Tulane, like I went to the business school and I majored in finance, but I just had never like really dove into the tax because I'm on scholarship. I'm not paying taxes. I don't have to do that.
You have to pay attention to any of it.
So I didn't pay attention to it, but it was just funny the way I it's kind of those things where you know about it, but you don't really pay attention to it, and then you find out, and it's like
until it hits you.
Wow, until it hits you.
Yeah, and it's crazy because you look at that check, you see the federal government, the state of Illinois, the city of Chicago.
Yeah.
What did y'all do for me getting this check?
Exactly.
Like y'all are just gonna take this out of my pocket for no reason, for lack of better words. But again, that's the structure of taxes, and it's an important piece for people and really kids coming into the league to understand that. And that's why I think it's important for financial literacy. As you mentioned, you were a business and finance major in college, and you're in that and in those learnings, but at the same time, it didn't really hit you until you actually saw your own physical check.
Until it applies to you.
Yeah.
I'm in class, accounting class and things like that. And I'm like, some of these things don't apply to me right now. But you never know. You might get in that space. And it's like, well, this is the actual thing you were learning.
So I'm curious, knowing what you know about money now, what would be something that you would do differently?
Something that I would do differently would be to explore a little more.
Okay. In what way?
I would say when early on, I just knew about, the tax, how much is gone. And that already with that kind of scared to be a statistic mentality. Yeah. Like I wasn't really doing a whole lot. And then you can kind of trust too many people where you have a financial advisor.
Yep.
Like I was blessed to have good ones. Nobody stole anything from me and like that. We've heard horror stories about that. But, sometimes you got a financial advisor, they're selling products. So they're commission based. They're only putting you in things that's beneficial to them. So knowing that earlier and not just playing, one of the good things was playing it safe, like long-term annuity. I'm a rookie, it's like put that away in a long, something that is 10 plus years to where when you finish, okay, say you play 10 years, boom, now you're getting, your payment,
dividends,
when you retire, instead of kind of the NFL one where you got to wait till you're 50 something years old or whatever. Understanding, I guess, in detail what the market offers you and not just let someone else do it, because we're so used to like being served and letting someone else provide these things. It's like, all right, here's the bag. Go make more with it for me.
So it's interesting that you say that, though, because I was of the same notion when I was coming out. It was like, I really don't understand the stock market. And it was in a downturn. It was 2008 that I went through. I was my last couple of years in college. I was drafted in 10. And there was like that cycle of where like if I put money to work right when I was drafted, and I got $3 million coming out from my rookie signing bonus, but I would have hit a nice wave, but I missed 2 years. I didn't really get invested until 2012, 2013 from that perspective. So kind of using that as a model, is there anything that you would say from that 18-year-old self start to learn? Or what kind of advice would you give to an 18-year-old self?
I would tell my 18-year-old self that God is not making any more land. So make sure that is something that you study or get involved in or invest in when it comes to not even just, even all kind of real estate, commercial and personal.
Yeah.
Because that's one of the things I would have changed too, is bought land earlier.
Okay.
And then understanding the cycle of the ups and downs of the market where, like you said, I was in 2008, so housing market crashed.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, if you got money, you can get some steals out there. So even if, if you could have, this could have been, obviously you're focusing on football, but even flipping houses or being able to do something in that aspect, you could have really, made a killing. But I'd say taking advantage of those situations and not just kind of sitting there where you do miss the wave and you're so late on it to where, you wouldn't really profit or benefit from it after it's already kind of come to light.
Yeah, one, taking advantage of them. And would you also say being able to educate yourself through those processes is understanding to how to identify them? As you said, you got to learn and understand before you can actually get into something. Yeah,
that would have been something definitely to open yourself up to more experiences. Because when football is what you do and NFL is so all-encompassing, you can definitely have blinders on. And that will eliminate some of those things that even in the off season, I'm thinking about the next season. I'm like, well, I got to train and get, maintain or get faster and all this. And if I were to, in those moments where you do have that time, okay, I train in the morning. You got the rest of the day, you could be learning from someone, and in all honesty too, is like people would be willing to because of the benefit of the platform. It's like, you want to learn about real estate? It's probably something for them to brag on. Like, I taught Sue this about real estate or whatever.
For sure.
But you have an open door and opportunities to learn from people that are doing it.
Yeah.
And it's just finding the right people too.
Would you say being able to use your celebrity and obviously being a newcomer to a new city, but finding mentors would be important?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I would say a key is don't believe your celebrity, but utilize it. So, I've heard it said that being a celebrity or fame is like cologne. Smells good on you, but don't drink it.
I ain't drinking no cologne, but I like smelling good.
Exactly.
No, that's dope. I'm going to have to steal that one from you for sure. Last one on this segment. What is one thing you currently spend on that you'll never put any limit on? And I'll give you one of my examples. I've started to, especially with my kids and talking about experiences, kind of spend unlimitedly, like once a year on a family trip.
Yeah.
So
I'm in that same vein. I want my kids to have experiences and educational experiences within it. I'm not going to go crazy and spend on just for them to experience how the sun looks from Africa or from Zanzibar. But if there's some learning, some teaching tools, okay, let's go to Ghana.
Okay.
Let's go learn about the door of no return. Let's go learn about how the transatlantic slave trade went through to school to prison pipeline and how that still affects Black people today, and even how we think about money.
Yeah.
So I will spend there's no cap on that type of experience for your family, where you're learning not only together, but you're reaffirming who they are in this world, in this country, and the person that they are.
Yeah.
And I think that is something that you have to invest in your kids and your family in order to, not only for their benefit, but for the benefit of the world.
Yeah, no, that's powerful. And I wholeheartedly agree with that. I got twin boys, and I know you got a spread of 4 kids, but I think it's super important to them to have that exposure and that experience and see other parts of the world and understand different cultures and how people are brought up and how things affect us, because it's all cyclical in some form or fashion.
Yeah. One of the things that God was gracious towards me, I made the mistake of like I had to get it out my system. It was like the cars.
Okay.
And it was like, okay, man, I got a Bentley.
Yeah.
No, actually, you start off with the sports cars. It's like you go through and it's like, man, this car really just gets you from A to B.
Yeah.
So, you know, having the Ferrari and then the Lamborghini and then the Bentley, and it's like, all right, by the time you get that, it's like, I can't put a car seat in here. Why do I even have this car?
That's right where I was about to go, because my boys, I got 2 twin boys that are 4. Them cats, they tear up my cars. Yeah. So the Rolls Royce, the Dawn, that's out the window. The G-Wagon, that's out the window. Guess what we got? We got a nice little Hummer for the wife. That's your mom car. Yeah. And mine is the GMC truck. Yeah. Let's keep it simple.
Keep it simple, man. And understanding that, because when it comes to them as well, I think it's good to give them these experiences of travel, being abroad, that people are different everywhere. Mm-hmm. Everybody doesn't have the same mentality, and just being amongst the diversity of this earth, this world, and then allowing that so that when they do have certain encounters or experiences, that they aren't, so to say, they're not like, they're familiar. Yeah. Where sometimes, like myself, like I ain't never been around a Ferrari or a nice car like that. So you get to that part, you like, I want to see what it's like. Yeah. So if they've had these experiences where, okay, yeah, that's cool. No, that nothing is like so big that it changes who they are character-wise, or they get out of character because of this particular event or surrounding. Yeah. I think that's really good. Keep them, you know, kind of grounded. Basically, you've been around a lot, so that you're humble enough that it's not impressive so much, or that you want to use this to be impressive or validate yourself from what other people's eyes. Yeah. Yeah. Looking for validation out of materialistic things and things that you can show other people, for sure. I want to talk a little bit about your business, and obviously you have an apparel company and in the media space as well, and being an author from that perspective. But what would you say to date is your biggest and best investment in win? Biggest and best investment in win. It's I don't know. I've seen some of your episodes. This might be a different answer. Okay, I like different answers. Nothing wrong with being different. I would say my biggest investment in win is in those who are us. Okay, that are coming up after us. I work with me and my wife. Me and Danielle work with PAO, which is Pro Athletes Outreach. Okay, and we're in the marriage ministry part. We're the directors of that. Yeah. Reason being is because I've seen too much, all too often, the guys who we have played with, the guys who we've been in Bible studies with or in the locker room with, they finish playing and they lose all their money, or they get divorced, or both. Mm-hmm. And it's a fact that money issues bleed into and actually become one of the main issues for divorce. Yeah. And with the national average being 50% already, pro athletes are 80 and 85%. It just heightens this kind of continuation of that. And God has not blessed us to play this amazing sport, to get paid to play a game, to blow our families up, and to ruin, because everything can be good, used in a good way and in a bad way. Yeah. And so my greatest win is being able to invest in the lives of these young men specifically and their significant others, to where they can come together as a couple and build something. I mean, that's the foundation of the world is families. Yeah. You know, you can't pick what family you come from or what you're born into, but you can create your own if God blesses you to, and shape people. And that looks different ways. Yeah. You might adopt kids, or you may be a father to those who don't have one in the neighborhood or whatever. So investing in people in that way that have those same kind of, basically the same temptations that's coming up, that can overtake them, that we've already been through. Yeah. And allowing them to say, or allowing them to learn from us in a way that benefits them going forward.
I'm curious to, why do you think, from your opinion and your experience having doing this work, you're seeing athletes in those marriages be at 80 to 85% or higher from a divorce rate perspective? And what are some of the things that you're doing to help combat that and educate them? Because I think it's more about education and things of that nature. But you tell me.
Yeah, I think the reason, it's a perfect storm. Like you got 20, 21-year-old young men coming out of college. Some have degrees. Yeah. A lot don't. Yeah. I had to go back after my rookie year and finish my last semester.
I give you kudos for that, because I wasn't going back.
Right.
That's why I made sure I got mine before I left.
Yeah. So it's something that is necessary to get, but I would say it's a lack of knowledge that allows us to think, and then pride. Yeah. I think lack of knowledge and pride are two. It's a bad mix, and then it's a perfect storm in the aspect of the temptation aspect. Everybody's calling your name. Everybody thinks you're a millionaire, and you may be, but everybody's asking for you for things. Yeah, and you got to learn all these things new, like how to say no and what to say yes to, and then when it comes to, your girlfriend or your fiance, your significant other, your wife, whatever, how do you get along together? And biblically, as it says, to become one. Yeah. When you get married, you leave your mother and your father and you become one. Yeah. So that's the highest human relationship that you're actually going to have. Your highest relationship is you and God. The other one is you and your wife, the highest human relationship. Yeah. So we oftentimes don't do that. We say, okay, my relationship is football. Yeah. All right, then okay, my kids and then everybody else. And that relationship between you and your wife has to come first, above all of that stuff. Yeah. Even the kids. Yeah. A lot of times they get in the way. They try to get away. They haters.
They be in the way,
they
for
haters.
Sure.
They get in the way all the time. And you, if you had that mindset, you won't feel bad telling them, not right now. Yeah. Me and your mom need to work on this, or we're talking about this, or we're doing it so that you benefit from this.
So it's funny you say that, though, because it's something that I've learned over the last probably 4 or 5 years. Yeah. And it's been an evolution. We just had our 5th year anniversary this past May, but even last night we got into a tiff, and I spoke to my wife in a manner that I didn't like, and I know she definitely didn't like. And it was from the standpoint of I was on the phone, I'm moving around, I'm doing something. And what I appreciated, and I took accountability for it, but she also slowed us both down, which again, this is what I was appreciative of. She said, you know what? I understand you were doing a bunch of different things, and you're driving, you're on the phone, you're doing these different particular pieces, but also at the same time, we have to slow down and speak to each other in a way that we both can receive. And it's all about not what you said, it's how you said it.
You're a smart man.
That is the craziest thing. And I have to say, at my time, it's and I'm the type of person where I want to just be direct and be done with it. But being direct and being done with it is not the best way. Yeah. You got to, again, slow down a little bit. But then she also, which I wholeheartedly love my wife for this, she took accountability to say, hey, you made a wrong decision. You took accountability. But I'm also going to say, I know you hate, and it's one of your biggest pet peeves, for a passenger street driver. And so her being able to say that to me disarmed me at the same time. So her being able to have that give and take was powerful from that perspective. And as you get older, you start to realize, again, it comes down to slowing down, and then also the presentation of what you're saying. What you're saying is not wrong. It's just how you delivered it.
Yeah. Yeah, congratulations too.
Thank
5
you.
years.
Thank you.
And I'm coming up on 15.
Man, congrats.
So I've learned that lesson many times and had to relearn it many times. That is not exactly what you say, but how you say it. And that's important because I'm a truth speaker. Yeah. I'm very direct. Yeah. We play football. I think a lot of football players are like that because what we do is direct.
Yeah.
And when you take that off the field, truth is funny.
Mm-hmm.
You can abuse someone with the truth.
Yeah.
So truth can hurt and harm, but it's the truth. So sometimes we can have that numbness about us where it's the truth.
Yeah.
But if I say it or deliver it in a way that doesn't, or like you said, like disarms that kind of defensiveness, you get to actually the core of what you want to happen.
Yeah.
You know, biblically they talk about it as saying speaking the truth in love.
Yeah.
That's a craft to be able to do it. A lot of people don't know how to do that.
Yeah.
They just say, hey, it's the truth.
Will you do me a favor and say that again?
Yeah. Yeah. Speaking the truth in love.
Speaking the truth in love.
There's a craft to being able to do that.
Yeah.
And it benefits everyone. So when it comes to, you know, your marriage, your family life, I heard a pastor say once, which I won't take credit for because I heard him say it.
Yeah.
And I've always kept it with me, is that the most significant thing we may do in life is not exactly what we do, but who we raise. And I was like, wow, that makes so much sense, because when you raising them, because you only got so much time when you think about it. Like your kids are 4 right now. I can remember when mine were 3 and 4. Actually, my youngest is 4. Yeah. Oldest is 14 now.
Yeah.
And it's like, wait, I got 4 more years until this dude is going off to college.
Yeah.
And my daughter's 12. Like, she's got limited time and she's going to be gone. And, you know, they come back and stuff, but at the same time, it's like, you got to let them go.
Yeah.
So it's formative years all the time. So those experiences and like teaching them, but also as a man of the house, as the head of the structure of how a man and wife lead together, how you treat your wife, how you speak to them, your boys are going to say that's how you speak to a woman, how you treat her. If you still open the door, like, or when you leave, hey, y'all are the men of the house now. Yeah. Y'all got to take care and watch out after mom. You can't be fighting each other because you got to look out for mom. Yeah. And respecting women. All of that they learn from you. Yeah. And even, with my daughters, how I speak to my wife, if I speak to her crazy, and it may be the truth, they think that's okay. Well, when someone speaks to your daughter like that, they may receive that as, okay, well,
I'm supposed to be
spoken to like that.
Yeah.
And you got to be cognizant of those things and how important, because they're always watching you. Yeah. Like, how on film, The Eye in the Sky Don't Lie? Yeah. These kids watch every single thing you say, do, and even your body language, your mannerisms, all that stuff. Yeah. So I have to, we're always on camera, like you watch it, because there's been times where, your wife, like as soon as you sit down, is their favorite time to ask you to actually do something or get something. Yeah. So as soon as I sit down, it's like, oh, can you grab that for me? And
yeah, exactly.
And then they see that. So then you see later, so like, oh, hey, can you grab me this? And you like, what you?
Yeah, what you
do? You live in this house that I paid for.
Exactly.
So it's just important that you're molding human beings, like you're shaping them.
No, man, this is powerful. I love it. We're talking about your book, and tell me a little bit more why you wrote that book and what was the reason that it and how it came about, more or less.
Yeah. Yes, interesting. Stay in the Game is what it's called, and the sub title is How to Make the Most of Every Season.
Okay.
And reason being is through experience. I mean, I'm only 39, about to be 40. So some people can be like, man, what is...
Hold on, man. You was in the league real early, 08?
08.
Dang, and you're only 38, about to be 39?
No, I'm 39, about to be 40.
Okay. You got me by a year. I'm 38, about to be 39. Okay.
Yeah. So, it can be said, like, what kind of wisdom do you possess to pass down? That's usually for 60, 70-year-old, guys. But it's for all the purposes of what we were talking about earlier with the young men that are coming up in our footsteps, those who are coming up after you, and to make a way to show them not the blueprint or some kind of cookie cutter situation where you just, copy and paste, but how to apply this to your life in a way that you can live wisely and steward what you've earned and what you've been given in a way that benefits not only you, but for you to open up your mind to realize that everything you have everything that you accumulate is for the benefit of other people, really.
Yeah.
So no, you don't, it's like almost basically you got a pitcher and you're pouring it in a glass and it's going to overflow that glass, but it's a blessing to have that water going in there, but you have to use that overflow into other people's, fill their cups up. And that's because when that happens, when you fill other people's cups up, yours continues to get
So I got a question for you. And this is something more recently that I've kind of fought with. And I get enjoyment with seeing other people with success and being a part of their success. Mm-hmm. And so you use the example of your cup getting overflown with blessings or whatever it may be. And we're using water for this example. And my cup's overflowing. And I want to take that additional water and pass it along to other people. Do you ever feel at some point in time that you've enabled some folks, though, through passing and giving them the blessings that you've been afforded?
Absolutely. Absolutely. You have to be wise about the lessons you teach other people, or the blessings in the way in which you bless someone. The best blessing you could give somebody might be tough love.
Yeah.
It could be that way. And especially when it comes to like money and things like that. Sometimes you definitely, when it comes to money, a lot of times you enable people.
Yeah.
And there got to be a point where you say, look, I can't purchase your freedom from debt.
Yeah.
You're going to have a mentality of not staying in debt.
Mm-hmm.
I can't, just buy away your problems.
Yeah.
Because they're going to come back.
Yeah.
And as we know, money doesn't change who you are. It just really heightens and reveals who you are and exposes who you are really deep down inside. So you can definitely enable people by kind of relegating yourself to kind of this unconscious giving of like, I'm just being a blessing to other people.
Yeah.
But you have to be wise about that. And it's situational. It's like, well, who is this particular person or these people? Because there are times where just because like the name of Ndamukong Suh is it's got a platform.
Yeah.
And yet just because your name, you could bring people along and give them open doors and opportunities just because of that.
Yeah.
But there's certain times where it's like an individual that may need help to do this. And it's like, you know what? The best thing I could do for you is to position you for your own growth.
Yeah.
Because if we're being honest about it, nobody appreciates stuff like when you earn it.
Yeah, it's crazy that you say that, though, because it brings me up a story that I had with my dad as a young kid. I was probably, I think, 5th grade going into 6th grade, and I wanted this BMX bike. And he was like, man, yeah, you can get that Schwinn, but the way you're going to get it is you're going to, every day of this summer, if you're consistent and come to the job site with me half a day, not even a full day, half a day, you're going to get up early in the morning, first thing with me. I'm going to drop you off back at your mom by lunchtime so you can eat, and then I'm going to go back to work. If you do it consistently, you can get that bike. I did it every single day that summer, and I got that bike, and I was so happy.
Yeah.
And I kept it clean. It was pristine in the garage. Like, it was my pride and joy at the end of the day versus saying, oh, yeah, you can have a bike. Here you go. And then I just go and destroy it. I got my last question for you. I'd be remiss to let you leave without asking you this. In your life or in your career, what's been the biggest price you've had to pay for a breakthrough?
Ooh, that's a great question. I like that question. Biggest price I've had to pay. You know what's interesting? This is going to be another different answer than you probably get.
Matt Forté with the different takes. I love this.
So the biggest price I've had to pay, honestly, the price that was paid for what I got in return is incomparable.
Okay.
The biggest price I paid, I think, is giving up the world. I gave up the world. It's like, I don't care about the validation of other people. I don't care about how this looks. I don't need to have, all the best things or the finest car. Like, I went through that phase and all those things. So like giving up the materialism and the allure of the fame and the money, cars, clothes, and women and like just all the stuff. Yeah. Giving up all of that and then giving up my own desire. Okay. Like my own, like as a man or as a human being, like you're born in this world and you're born and you sin. Like there's this, it's like my kids, I never taught them, I say like I said, they watch you and I never taught them to lie.
Yeah.
Yet they'll lie.
For sure.
And so it's like, it's a human character trait that we're all in debt to, because nobody teaches us that you're born that way, that you're gonna say things and do bad things and do stuff, but you have to obviously, control yourself from doing those things. So yeah, long answer to say, what Jesus did on the cross for us, to come down from the comforts of heaven and enter into a human body and to live a perfect life and to die the death that we deserve because we're indebted. Sin needs an atonement, right?
Yeah.
For him to do that for us. And all I had to do was relinquish the world, which is passing away anyway.
Yeah.
And to gain eternity, to gain eternal life with my Heavenly Father, because we're all going to leave this place at some point.
Yeah.
Nobody stays here on earth. Been a lot of generations and generations of people. Only one has died and rose again.
Yeah.
So to give up all of the world and all the things to gain that has been the biggest breakthrough, and honestly, the price that I've paid, because it is hard.
Yeah.
Let's be honest. Like your flesh, you have this fleshly body that you live in. You got a soul and a spirit.
Yeah.
And that is going to live for eternity somewhere. So the desires of the flesh are the prideful things. It's the things that you lust after.
Yeah.
It's the things that are shiny and that you think that if I do this makes me a man. And that's my message to a lot of the young players and athletes and men out there, but women as well, is that give up the world and what you think is success from a worldly aspect to gain an eternal perspective, because God will give you more than we deserve and more than you ever fathomed that he would give you.
Wholeheartedly believe that. Man, Matt, this has been one gracious conversation, and I learned some new things today.
Yes, sir.
And some reminders as well. Slow down. But man, this has been amazing. I appreciate you joining No Free Lunch, and look forward to staying in touch, boss.
Yes, sir. It's good to be in this capacity with you,
yes,
not across the ball.
Yeah, for sure.
T. Rowe Price proudly sponsors No Free Lunch. The views expressed in this podcast are those of the podcast participants and do not necessarily reflect those of T. Rowe Price. Their sponsorship supports the platform and does not imply endorsement of specific content or perspectives.
I mean, I'm completely blown away with the conversation I was able to have with Matt Forté. I think one of the most important things and biggest takeaways that I have from that conversation is money is great, and as you continue to grow, yes, you want to have things poured into you and pour into other people, but finding ways to pour into your community is also very important. And being strategic in how you pour into that community as well as people and supporting them is a very key note as well that I take from Matt in that conversation. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe to No Free Lunch on Apple, Spotify, YouTube, or wherever you get your podcasts.